golden text. First page. Thus have I heard. At one time, the Buddha was at the Peach and Plum Pavilion, teaching his mother. In this section, we're talking about history. The meaning of one time also needs a bit of elaboration. In Buddhist teachings, they talk about this concept of time. Two expressions were used. One talks about a moment, right? The Buddha said, "This is the real deal. It's the truth." That's the truth of time. Now, the other term is called samaya. What Desert World means is common sense. So what we're talking about now is the concept of interdependence, right? Just look at the Diamond Sutra, so to speak. Like dew, just like now. Like dew, just like the earth. This like dew, you know, dew is water. And we know its time is very short. In the morning, the dew falls, and after the sun comes out, it just evaporates. So we use this to counter common sense. It's like this, interdependence. Using lightning as a metaphor for the real world. That's the real world. In the Avatamsaka Sutra, it says that we rely on the illusion of a moment. This is the truth. And the concept of a moment. It's hard for us to grasp. Yeah, science is really thriving now. Using scientific instruments for observation. You can burn it, right? We can all get a bit of a feel for it. But to be honest, this moment, right? It's something that's often talked about. Life and death happening at the same time. Because the time of his life, it's just too short. Definitely not. Our six senses, yeah, they can pick up on things. Our six faculties. To really feel something. In other words, it takes quite a long time. So when there's a stimulus, it reacts straight away, even though straight away still feels like a long time. If we talk about this momentary life and death, we can say that. We can't feel it at all. Not just us ordinary folks. The beings in the six realms are way smarter than humans. Even though they are much more sensitive, they still can't feel it. Even the hearers and the enlightened ones, or the teachings of the Bodhisattvas. So it often tells us the Earth Bodhisattva can actually see Aleya. Aleya is just the momentary good words. You need to have such deep meditative power to really pull it off. You need to be able to sense this momentary life. The momentary life the Buddha often talks about in the scriptures, using the term non-birth and non-death to describe it. If there's no life, then saying non-birth and non-death is just nonsense. So what does that even mean? When we say non-birth and non-death, to be honest, it really does have birth and death. But that life just disappears. It's almost like life and death happen at the same time. That's why it's called non-birth and non-death. When we talk about this, it really makes sense, doesn't it? Life happens simultaneously. This practice is incredibly brief. Well, this briefness, to be honest, it's definitely not current technology. It can be detected. Technology can pick it up. This world has been around for a long time. This is what the Buddha means. Understand it carefully. This scripture also talks about this very sentence, and it's completely the truth. We need to be able to carefully understand it. Once you understand this moment, you understand everything. It's all about not born, not perished. When it comes to the terror of life and death, you just let it go. You know that all phenomena explained by this interpretative framework are just illusions, right? They are not born, not perished. This is the truth. We can't see the Bodhisattvas above the 8th ground. So, in this moment, right here, if we were to put it into practice in terms of the 4 aspects, this is when the Buddha, Shakyamuni, spoke the teachings and the timing was just right. This is called consciousness. Well, this way of saying it, it's also very complete. All of the scriptures use this wording. The Buddha said this scripture when the conditions were right. Well, this time the conditions are really special. Just merely living and dying. It's also quite rare. The Buddha is in the Peach and Plum Hall. It's all happening in other places. Principle discussing it. The Buddha is the one who accomplishes everything. The main speaker at the Dharma assembly. This is the Buddha Shakyamuni. Right. This word is really great, especially when it comes to the 4 aspects. It's being said, yeah. This is all about speaking the truth. We people in this world have so many misconceptions. That mistaken notion. They've been wrong their whole life and don't even realize it. Let's take a few really simple examples to explain. Do we need to wash for the morning ritual? We're learning linking to medicine. Washing your face the wrong way. Washing away the dirt on your face. It's not about washing your face. Do we need to wash a piece of clothing? It's just like washing away the dust. Think about how many misconceptions we have. In the classroom, do we need to wipe the blackboard? Wiping off the chalk dust from the blackboard. Where's the wiping of the blackboard? The blackboard should be wiped, and the black stuff should be taken off. So what do you call it? A blackboard. You've always known, in daily life, if you think about it carefully, how many misconceptions there are. That's just ridiculous. Everyone's got it wrong. Just because someone says it doesn't mean it's right. Yeah. Sometimes when Buddha tells us the truth, we feel it is strange. Right. This is saying that what you think is real is actually false. How do you live? Today you're here, tomorrow you're there. Where are you really living? It's just about where this body is right now. That's the right idea. So the Buddha is here, and we're really talking about being here. Today in Singapore. Right now we're at the Kim Chong Association, and tonight we'll be at the Lay Buddhist Association. That's being here. To be present means to be still. That's what it means to live. Right now we're at the Kim Chong Association, and tonight we'll be at the Lay Buddhist Association. That's being here. To be present means to be still. That's what it means to live. Well, the note is there and it's not moving. Stop it. Always moving around. That's being here. Buddhist teachings highlight the mind's struggle to settle the in the empty hall, the palaces and towers. The Buddha says that the palaces and towers are here, and the mind should find peace in compassion. The mind finds peace residing in the situation. This is called it never leaves. It's like a home. This life is always in motion, right here. So from the 4 lines again, where is the Buddha this time? In the realm of the heart. Crossing into the second layer of heaven. People of the world, you know there are listeners. Do you know about the heavenly beings? What about the heavenly beings? They are also very respectful. They call them gods. The Chinese call him the Jade Emperor. They're probably all the peach and plum deities. They don't know that there are heavens beyond the heavens. I'm telling you, in our Saho world, there are 28 layers of heaven. Each layer has an immeasurable and boundless number. From above to below, there are 28 layers. The 28 layers are divided into 3 realms. Desire restraint, form restraint, and formless restraint. What's called crossing the boundaries is still about the desires for food, drink, and relationships. This hasn't been cut off. But the higher you go, the more it becomes insubstantial. In the world, well, that jade is gone. What we often talk about. Firewood crossing into the bright world. Firewood crossing into the bright world. The world. Wealth, lust, fame, food, and taxes. In the world, there are no heavenly beings at all. The beings in the realm of form don't need food or sleep. No matter if you're awake. They don't need food. Zen discipline is for sustenance. He doesn't need food. But they still have a physical body. They have a physical form. To the formless realm, this is the highest level of ordinary beings within the 6 realms. He doesn't even want this body anymore. Before Buddhism arrived in China, in ancient China, there was a wise figure known as Laozi. Laozi told me. He said, I have a great worry, which is that I have life. What is my biggest concern? It's having this body. The body is a burden. It's a hassle. He has this realization. Laozi might have been born into the formless heaven because he despises this body. Ham hates these physical forms. So, in the formless heaven, there's really no true reality. What we common folks often talk about, the spiritual realm, it's probably the sediment of the color ladder. So in this realm, it's the most free, because there are no physical forms. So this is a big division into 3 realms. The 3 realms with 28 levels of heaven. This is Shakyamuni Buddha. It's a scope of teaching. It's that big. Shakyamuni Buddha. Is there life and death? Not for the gods. It manifests in our world, in a solidified form, appearing in response. We see it has birth and death. In fact, when it dies, it goes to other planets and other places, and then it appears again to teach sentient beings. We see that it has birth and death. In fact, when it dies, it goes to other planets and other places, and then it appears again to teach sentient beings. This is the great freedom, the reality of nature. So, let me tell you about this body. The Avatamsaka Sutra mentions 10 spiritual powers. We focus on 3. They fall into 3 categories: the Dharma body, the true body. We discuss 3 deities. When we talk about the 3 kinds in detail, we mention 10 kinds, but if we summarize, they fall into 3 categories: the Dharma body, which is the true body, and that's quite profound. All beings arise from it. So, it's the most fundamental thing that can give rise to all phenomena. Can it reveal our true nature? Human nature, beneath the homeland. The mountains and rivers, the great earth. This all reaches out together. It's all manifested. What about the second kind, the ultimate goodness? It's specifically called the reward body. Yeah, the reward body is the body of gathering. So that means his wisdom has opened up. And wisdom is right in front of him. He knows everything about the universe and life, and he can do anything. The third kind is called the solidified birth, and it talks about solidification, which has 2 meanings. Seriously. It belongs to the inner master. Whatever god is needed in Indonesia, that's the god he presents. So, the Buddha comes to the human realm, to any place. It's without obstacles, free and easy. Come when you want to, go when you want to. Come and go as you please. Unlike us ordinary folks, we ordinary folks are bound by our karmic bodies. Not drunk at all. Completely under the control of karma. When we talk about the control of karma, it's a bit hard for everyone to grasp. Let's put it another way. Being controlled by fate, being governed by destiny, that's something everyone can understand. So it's said that everything is fate, and not a bit is up to us. You can imagine how painful this is. What is fate? Fate is oneness. Karma. The good deeds we did in the past, that's the good fortune we're reaping in this life. the bad deeds we did in the past. That's the misfortune we're facing in this life. So this life, all the benefits are. What's said in the clouds about a camp and a capture? Could it be preordained? That's the gist of it. It really is beyond our control. But Buddhas and Bodhisattvas come to this world. They also come to reincarnate. He also experiences death. Their life and death are free. It's not karma, but it is karma. In this century, you can live whatever kind of life you want. You can stay as long as you want. Their life and death are free, you see. When do you want to go? Where do you want to head off to? He knows it clearly, crystal clear. Free to come and go. This is called a command injury. It's about will, not karma. We need to understand these principles before we know how we should learn Buddhism. How do we turn our karma into willpower? So the essence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is right here. If he can transform, then we can transform too. Where does the transformation start? It starts from the heart. Once the body and mind have transformed, then the body has transformed. If you try to transform the body without transforming the heart, it's pointless. No matter how you try, it just won't work. You've got to start from the heart. So what about the heart? If it gets stuck, then it's not real, right? Just have a look. In the Avatamsaka Sutra, there are 10 dwellings of the Bodhisattvas. I'm talking about the heart dwelling, not the body dwelling. The slaughter of the assistants of all Buddhas. That's right. The Buddha tells us about this dwelling in the sutras, right? 4 cones, right? These 4 types are all correct. The first 2 are still within the 6 realms. Haven't escaped the 6 realms. This is what we call the heavenly pillar. The heavenly pillar. That means in your next life, you'll definitely be reborn. Want to take a call? Let me give you a simple introduction to the 6 heavenly kings of the desire realm. Heavenly beings. It's about having a peaceful heart, dwelling in the 10 mountains and the 1 path. Giving, keeping precepts, and practicing the 10 good deeds. In the next life, you're definitely going to be reborn in the heavenly realm. That's the blessing. We've got a lot of people in the human realm enjoying heavenly blessings. The second type of problem is called turning back. Getting all worked up, that's about practicing meditation. Is it clear now? All those desires, just let them go. It's like the 5 desires and 6 forms. Just look at them lightly. In your heart, filled with compassion and joy. Words are the joy of fools. Bringing joy to others, helping people find happiness. Sorrow is about relieving others' suffering. When someone is suffering, help them solve their troubles. It's about seeing others receive blessings and benefits. Decide to let go of jealousy and cultivate a joyful heart. When your heart can let go of a million worries. This heart is settled in compassion and joy. Listen to the world of life. So living in the 3 realms is considered proper. But we people nowadays are different. Where do people nowadays willingly settle? They are stuck in greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance, and that's just not good at all. Settled in greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance. Settled in the desires of the sand path. The ancient castle is in the 3 realms. It shows that he's not dwelling in listening, nor is he caught up in annoyance. It's a ghostly dwelling. We know where the heart is settled. It's quite terrifying. We're very clear and understand these principles thoroughly. We need to know where the heart is settled, as it will lead to what kind of consequences in the future. It's really terrifying. So the 3rd type is called caution. Even dwelling in the body-mind. This holy decree has the small ministers, the hearers, and the Bodhisattvas of enlightenment. Although being a fully awakened Bodhisattva is different, they all have one thing in common, which is that the heart must dwell within the 3 realms. This is a common point, isn't it? The 4th Buddha bead. Dwell where the Buddha dwells. You just happen to enter this state. It's for all the Bodhisattvas. Truly learning Buddhism. It's a must. Buddha beads. Where are beads? The great mountain is empty, beautiful mountain. Emptiness without form. May Day. May 1st is also called Labor Day. If it's grounded in Jin's Hong. Be settled in the meditation of chanting the Buddha's name. We find it really hard to grasp the vast and boundless nature of other realms. It's better to follow the Buddha's teachings. We settle our hearts on chanting the Buddha's name.
This is pretty easy to learn. Chanting Buddha's name is cause becoming Buddha result. This is truly incredibly rare and exceptional. We're talking about, with pigs. These two words have meanings. Today, the Buddha is escaping from heaven. What's the point of making a profit in a day? It's for the sake of the mother, to share the teachings.